If you've been keeping an eye on console prices lately, you probably noticed something that feels a little backwards. Hardware is getting more expensive as the generation goes on, not less. And now, Sony has officially confirmed another round of price increases, this time targeting Southeast Asia starting May 1st, 2026. This isn't just a minor adjustment either. This affects the base PlayStation 5, the digital edition, the new PS5 Pro, and even the PlayStation Portal. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what's changing, how it compares globally, and what this says about where gaming is headed next. Starting with Singapore, the standard PS5 is now set at 849 Singapore dollars. The digital edition comes in at 764 Singapore dollars, and the PS5 Pro jumps all the way up to 1,167 Singapore dollars. Over in Malaysia, you're looking at 2,799 Malaysian ringgit for the standard PS5, 2,499 Malaysian ringgit for the digital edition, and 3,999 Malaysian ringgit for the PS5 Pro. Thailand follows a similar pattern with 20,999 Thai baht for the PS5, 18,790 Thai baht for the digital edition, and 30,990 Thai baht for the PS5 Pro. Indonesia sees the standard PS5 priced at 11,399,000 Indonesian rupiah and a digital edition at 9,999,000 Indonesian rupiah, while the Philippines lists the PS5 at 40,032 Philippine pesos, and Vietnam comes in at 16,900,000 Vietnamese dong. On top of that, the PlayStation Portal remote player is also seeing increases, landing at 347 Singapore dollars in Singapore, 1,099 Malaysian ringgit in Malaysia, 8,380 Thai baht in Thailand, and 5,199,000 Indonesia rupiah in Indonesia. These all go live May 1st, and these aren't small jumps. They're meaningful increases that are going to be felt immediately by anyone looking to jump into the ecosystem or upgrade. But here's the thing. This Southeast Asia adjustment doesn't exist in a vacuum. This is part of a much broader global pricing shift that already took effect on April 2nd, 2026 in major markets. In the United States, the PS5 now sits at $649.99 in United States dollars, the digital edition at $599.99 in the US, and the PS5 Pro at $899.99 in the US. The United Kingdom, Europe, and Japan all saw similar increases along with the PlayStation Portal. When you connect the dots, it becomes clear that this isn't about one region. It's a coordinated global strategy, and that matters because it tells us this isn't a temporary fluctuation or a regional correction. This is the new baseline. According to Sony, the reasoning behind these changes comes down to continued pressures in the global economic landscape. That includes inflation, currency volatility, manufacturing cost, and logistics. And to be fair, those pressures are real. But there's a gap between understanding the reasoning and accepting the outcome. From a business perspective, raising prices helps maintain margins and fund future development. From a consumer perspective, it just means paying more for the same, or in some cases, slightly upgraded hardware. And that's where the tension comes in. What makes the situation stand out is how unusual it is in the context of console generations. Traditionally, as a console ages, it becomes cheaper. Manufacturing improves, components get more affordable, and companies pass some of those savings on to consumers. That's how you expand your install base late in the generation. But right now, we're seeing the opposite. The PlayStation 5 is more expensive in 2026 than it was closer to launch, and the PS5 Pro is entering a price bracket that starts to overlap with mid-range gaming PCs. That changes the conversation entirely. It's no longer just about picking a console. It's about evaluating whether the value proposition still makes sense. And this is where Southeast Asia becomes especially important. These markets are incredibly passionate about gaming, but they're also more price sensitive compared to regions like North America or Western Europe. A price increase here doesn't just mean a slightly higher barrier. It can significantly impact adoption rates. It can push players toward older hardware, secondhand markets, or even alternative platforms entirely. So while this might look like a straightforward pricing update on paper, in practice it could reshape how and where people choose to play. Then there's the PlayStation Portal, which adds another layer to this discussion. This isn't a standalone console. It's a remote play device that depends on already owning a PlayStation 5 and having a solid internet connection. Raising the price on something like that is a different kind of risk because they're already positioned as a secondary optional piece of hardware. When the cost of entry goes up across the entire ecosystem, console, accessories, everything, you start to see friction build up, and friction is the enemy of growth. Looking at the bigger picture, this ties into a broader shift happening across the gaming industry. Hardware is getting more expensive, development costs are rising, and companies are leaning more heavily on digital ecosystems, subscriptions, and long term engagement to make up the difference. But there's a limit to how much of that cost can be pushed onto consumers before it starts to backfire. If the barrier to entry gets too high, you risk shrinking your audience instead of growing it. And in a competitive landscape, that's a dangerous place to be. So, what we're really looking at here isn't just a set of price changes, it's a signal that the economics of gaming are changing, that the traditional life cycle of consoles might not apply the way it used to, and that companies are still trying to figure out how to balance rising cost with consumer expectations. Whether this strategy works long term is going to depend on how players respond. Do they accept the higher prices as the new normal, or do they start holding back, waiting for discounts or exploring other options? If you found this breakdown helpful and you want more deep dives like this, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to go even deeper, check out my Patreon. My latest exclusive is a look at why games keep launching broken and no one seems to stop it. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack there. Game on.